Welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking Transformers, and we're talking Optimus Prime and his very own solo movie. Peter Cullen wants it, the fandom wants it, but it's becoming increasingly unlikely that we're going to get it, with a script being developed for a Bumblebee 2 which will feature Prime in a buddy movie. So let's put the question out there. Why is it so difficult for Paramount and Hasbro to develop an Optimus Prime solo movie? It seems very simple to do, to tell an origin story about the great Autobot leader. But every time the topic arises, Paramount and Lorenzo de Bonaventura shy away from it. Why is that? Now before we get into it, I want to make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my Transformers content. So what do you think? Why are we not getting this? Because a little while ago, after the success of Bumblebee, Lorenzo de Bonaventura said that he would like to see an Optimus Prime solo movie, and it was something they had in mind. They said it would be difficult to write a plot for Optimus because he is an Autobot of few words. Bumblebee doesn't talk. What the hell? But that's what he said. He also said that Optimus Prime is a stoic character. Even more reason for him to have his very own solo movie. Peter Cullen, the iconic voice of Optimus Prime, would like this to happen. The fandom would like this to happen. And Optimus is the most well-known Autobot, in fact, the most well-known Transformer of them all. Why isn't this happening? I don't get it. I think it would be a big money spinner at the box office because everybody knows Prime. They see him as courageous, a great leader, all the attributes that you need to create a good movie. Optimus Prime has. Now I had this debate with my brother and he raised an interesting point. I'm not so sure I agree with it, but interesting nonetheless, because he said an Optimus Prime solo movie would simply feel like the first 5 Transformers films, because it would be Optimus surrounded by other Autobots fighting off Decepticons. That's what we've had before. Now I understand that point, but I think it could be so much more than that, because it depends on when this movie would take place. If it's an origin story, you get to see how Optimus Prime started out and how he gradually became the great leader that is Optimus Prime. You get to understand the character, the emotions, the pride that Optimus Prime has. And they're things that we don't get in those Transformers films. Michael Bay's version of Optimus Prime at times was simply too brutal. Yes, it brought up some fantastic action moments with Optimus, but it felt like he had the character of a Decepticon. It felt like he had the attitude of a Megatron when in that Optimus Beast mode. That mode where he couldn't be stopped, where he'd kill them all. He said that. That's not the Optimus Prime that I know and loved from Transformers G1. Yes, I enjoyed the action sequences, but we could tell a different story in an Origins movie about the great leader and take great influence from Transformers Generation 1. So again, I ask the question, why is it so difficult to create an Optimus Prime standalone movie? There is a different take on this. We could get a new director. I feel like the stories are there to be told. but still Paramount avoid it. Now I do understand going down the route of the buddy movie. Bumblebee was a success. It makes sense to move naturally towards a sequel and bring in Optimus Prime. If we're going for that reboot that's been talked about, then that's a natural progression and we can continue on from that, from the 1980s. Fine, I'm excited to see what they come up with, particularly if they get Travis Knight back and Christina Hodson writing the Bumblebee sequel. I think it will be good, but that doesn't mean that you can shy away from a standalone Optimus movie. That could still be in the works, because you just have to look around at other studios at present working on different versions of different characters. For example, DC working on a standalone Joker movie which has no tie to its DCEU. That's the sort of bold approach that I'd like to see Paramount take. Yes, continue with the Bumblebee franchise. Have a Bumblebee sequel. Make it a buddy movie. But to the side of that, focus on an Optimus Origins movie. That can be its own story and have no connection to the other Transformers films. I think that would work perfectly fine. I honestly do. And I also think, if done correctly, with the right director, it would be a success. I think the draw alone would be more successful than Bumblebee. Because some people were out there at the time when Bumblebee was being planned and they were saying, I don't want a Bumblebee movie. I'm tired of Bumblebee. I want Optimus Prime. People were out there saying that then. So why not give the people what they want? And I believe if they did, the draw, the anticipation would be much bigger. I don't even think they have to have a major budget. Yes, maybe a little bit more than what B had, but I don't think it has to be massive. I think it just needs to do what Bumblebee did. Tell the right story, has enough action in it, and gives you an understanding of the character that is Optimus Prime. But I think you could do that alongside a Bumblebee buddy movie. Now Lorenzo de Bonaventura, we know he's very outspoken. Recently he's been slapped a bit and stepped back down and kind of kept quiet after he made the mistake of hinting that there would be a sequel to Transformers The Last Knight. He's now backtracked and declined that statement. But he did mention something I thought was interesting, because I thought, if you're saying this, why are you not doing the Optimus solo film? Let me read you this extract. Now this comes from an article which I have linked in the description box below, but the article which leads into his comments says this. Finally, he goes on to say that he wants to humanise Optimus the same way Bumblebee was humanised in this movie. And Lorenzo de Bonaventura says this. Actually, when I heard that the movie Bumblebee will be made, I was wondering what Optimus thinks. Bumblebee was supposed to be Optimus's sidekick, but he said, why not me? That's why I want to write about Optimus, as I drew him in Bumblebee in detail. Now, it's not exactly the best paragraph of text from Lorenzo, but I take away the last sentence because it says, that's why I want to write about Optimus, as I drew him in Bumblebee in detail. Lorenzo, if you want to write about Optimus, do it with his own movie. Please. I want it, the fandom wants it, Peter Cullen wants it. I'm sure if you ask Optimus, he'll tell you he wants it. I'm sure there's a director out there that wants it too. Come on. I mean, this is the trouble. It's like they want to do it, but something is holding them back. And maybe it is because they think it would be too similar to a Transformers standard movie, like we've seen with the 1 to 5. I don't know. I don't understand the difficulties behind it. If they think it's going to lack a draw at the box office, well, people were out there saying they wanted this more than Bumblebee in the first place. So I doubt that. So I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. I want to understand why you think it's so difficult for Paramount and Hasbro to pull together an Optimus Prime standalone movie. If you was the director, or if you was in the shoes of Lorenzo de Bonaventura, I'm sure you do a pretty good job at that. But if you were, how and what would your script be? How would you set up an Optimus standalone movie? Would it be an origin story? Would it be during the Battle of Cybertron? Would it involve Megatron? Would it be prior to the Autobot Civil War? When would it take place? I want to understand from you, because I don't believe it's as difficult as it's being made out. I think there's a lot of politicking. I think that when they look at the Transformers, B is the money spinner because that's more the kid-friendly Autobot. So it's better to focus on him and build Optimus Prime into that than it is giving Optimus his own movie. He's the more courageous, he's the great leader, but he might not appeal as much to that kid-friendly audience. And that's just the way I begin to see things. That's the dynamic, that's the route, and it is definitely moving away from that more ruthless Optimus Prime that we've seen in the past. And yes, it may be that the Bumblebee buddy movie gives us the G1 Optimus, the courageous leader with some heart, but it still doesn't navigate away from me wanting an Optimus Prime movie of his own. And I'm sure if you ask Peter Cullen, he would feel the same. So I want to get your views and opinions on this. Let me know in the comment section below. I think it makes an interesting topic for us to talk about because so many people want it. But at this point in time, it feels like we are never going to get it. All that's left to be said is please rate, comment, and subscribe. This is Delzinski, signing out.